Good evening. Welcome to all of you. As you know, today we're having a topic of living light, living free, the secret of happiness by Sister Jagruti. So let us, I can introduce her. Every year she comes here, she feels good and we feel good. She's very light, very creative, and she's very free. So that's what her topic is all, living free, living light. That is the secret of happiness. And from past 4+ decades, she's practicing meditation as well as a spiritual teacher with lot of wisdom and creative. And she radiates peace, happiness and joy. And as the happiness is not by chasing it, it is just to leave it. So that is her topic is. So let us remove all the burdens, the past, and live with the happiness. That's her topic. So please join Sister Jagruti with us. Today let us give a warm welcome with a round of applause. So welcome, Sister.
So, as is the topic, I think in the current times, this topic is very essential. We all live a very busy life, not just in Dubai, but in London and across the world. Everybody is wanting more happiness, wanting more time, wanting more peace. And this topic actually came about from Bahrain because many people were just feeling that they're not able to live in the moment, not able to live with happiness due to one reason or the other. And so I think this topic's been good for me as well, just again underlining how important it is to be happy, how important it is to be light, and which results in us being very, we are able to share happiness. But what I'd like to do is associate this more to the mind and to our thoughts. So I would like to start off by just presenting some questions to you, just to think about. And the reason I've done this is because this is something I've done with myself. So you can either jot it down or think about it, as opposed to me just doing a straightforward talk. But the questions I ask, you may not be able to have the answer straight away, which is fine. But in your own time, maybe after a day or so, you can reflect on these questions and just see how you would like to build on them, how you would like to develop on them, and to really find the true answer. So the first question is, what does happiness mean to me? And the reason I ask this is, if I ask you all, or if including myself, am I happy today? We will say yes. But am I truly happy living in the moment? Am I happy? No. And I think physically, mentally, financially, people are struggling. People are dealing with a lot. All of us are dealing with so much. And so the root of it is, how can we help with the power of thoughts? The second question is, how do you share your happiness? So you can all get together as a family, you can go out, you can go for a walk, you may have moments, you may be watching just a simple comedy and you feel happy in that moment. But what happens when that event or that occasion has finished? Then the third question is, how do you increase your happiness? Happiness is not measured, and you can build on it, you can develop on it, but it's not something you can just go and purchase from somewhere. Then the fourth question is, what takes your happiness away? And the fifth question, why is it always important to remain happy? Of course, we are dealing with so much, and we have each moment, each day is different from the rest, but how can I develop on that further? So why is it important to remain happy? Now, these are very simple questions, but they're very reflective questions. And later on I can share how I had answered these questions. And also, doing this exercise maybe once a month, maybe once a quarter, you can develop on it and understand it. You are happy today, tomorrow you are not happy. Why is that? What has reduced your happiness? So it's like you need to become your own doctor. You need to understand the reason, and then you need to be your own nurse and your own friend, and you need to develop on that. But coming back to it, more so about how to remain light, I would very much connect that to the mind. And I'm sure here also, one of the courses we teach is positive thinking. And it's a good course in the sense where it gives you a reflective moment. It gives you moments to actually see and analyze for yourself, to research on yourself how furthermore you can develop. So don't look very serious. It's a very friendly, open session. But the first thing is we all need to smile. Now, if I ask you to smile, you may just smile. But how much do we smile with happiness within? Sometimes we may not be feeling very well, and that actually reduces our happiness. And the body then takes over our happiness. Why? Because the body is dealing with something. And so what I need to do is take the right medicine to overcome that. Just now when I was in Bahrain, there was one brother who was having immense pain, and you know tooth pain is the worst pain. He kept going to the doctors, he kept going to the hospital, and they said, you need to remove your tooth, but we can't remove your tooth. So he was left in a limbo. But one thing I admired about him very much, he was always smiling. He was always very light. And this topic we had done there, and we had done it in a very creative way. He said it was a good reminder of the session we had, that no matter what the body is going through, but to really keep the mind very positive, very light, and very happy, which helped him in this little episode. And so it's not the answer, of course, because he needs to have the tooth removed, but he said it helped him to deal with that issue, that problem. And so, coming back to the mind, what does the mind do? Does the mind allow me to be happy? Does the mind allow me to be light? Does it? Yes? Sometimes? No time? So just to show you some slides. So how do you empower the self? It is actually by thinking positive. One of the reasons we don't feel light, we may be physically very light, but we can be very heavy-hearted and we can be very heavy-minded, is because we think so much. The mind is very active. I'm sure you've experienced this, right? Yes? No? The mind is very heavy, the heart is very heavy, and then you feel like you have 100 elephants on you because you're dealing with so much. And when you go through these emotions and feelings, what happens is that is what is projected through your words, through your actions, through your interactions with each other. And so we need to just remember the basics. These are only basic slides I'm showing you. Each thought is like a seed. So if I'm sitting here thinking about London, which currently is -4, so if I'm sitting here thinking about the cold weather in London, I cannot live in the present moment. I cannot enjoy the present moment. So what happens? I reduce or I remove, I diminish all my happiness. And so each thought we have is like, it plays a very powerful part. What about having a negative thought about someone or something? So I could be sitting here thinking, you are not a very nice person, you are a nice person. Sorry to pick on you. I may not physically say it, but you pick up those vibrations. Have you had that sometimes? I know sometimes I've called somebody and they've said to me on many occasions, oh, I was just thinking of you, which may be true. But I also know I've called somebody and they say, I was thinking of you, and I know that's not true. But they've said it just to make me feel happy. And I'm seeing in the current times, those feelings, those vibrations are what we pick up. We catch that because the time is very sensitive now and a lot of chaos is happening in the world. And so each thought is like a seed. If from the time I wake up, my thought is very negative, then that is what is projected throughout the day. What about how I go to sleep? What is the last thing I do when I go to sleep? Looking at the mobile. Yeah. Creating a positive thought. It's very true. These days, even if we are looking at the mobile, how much am I looking at something that's good, or am I reading something that is not so good? I remember once I had seen a film on a gorilla, Tarzan, and I was very young then, and all night, for 2 nights, I kept thinking there was gorillas on the roof. So I was having nightmares, and it affected my sleep. And when I came to start to practice this meditation, I was 7. And one of the disciplines we were taught is the way we go to sleep is the way we wake up in the morning. And why I'm sharing this story of a gorilla, for many days, everywhere I was looking, I was eating breakfast, I was going to school, all I could see was Tarzan and the gorillas. You know the film Tarzan. And I became very scared. And so, learning meditation from a young age, we were disciplined into how is my thought, how is my interaction. So the way I go to sleep is a reflection of how I will get up in the morning. How I sleep is not a reflection of how I get up in the morning. So if I go to sleep with very heavy, tired thoughts, that is how I get up in the morning. It is the give and take of how I sleep, how I think, how I get up. If I get up with a headache, of course you have a headache, but how I deal with the headache will be how my day will be presented, right? Sometimes you can go to office. I have been working in the financial industry now for over 35 years, and I have seen one of the things now more so in London is people become very moody. And why they've become moody? Because they've not eaten well, they've not slept well, but most of all, their relationships with each other is very much affected. And so because of this has actually resulted in bad energy and mindset. And then they can't be happy, they can't be light. And so to remember, each thought is like a seed. We actually go through many types of thoughts in the day. But here I'm just showing you the 4 basic thoughts. You have ordinary thoughts, positive thoughts, negative thoughts, and wasteful thoughts. Which one are you today? Positive, ordinary. Just out of the 4 I'm showing you. I think today I was feeling a bit ordinary because I am leaving Dubai day after tomorrow. And then again I was thinking, okay, presence of mind. Presence of mind is so important, and I believe very much in that, and I have seen the result of that has been very beneficial. And so thinking of the past, you can become upset. Not seeing too much into the future, it's like you forget the present, you don't enjoy the present. So let me share a story with you, how the mindset works. There was a family on the train, a father and 3 children, and the children were young. You may have heard this story in a different way. And on the train, the children were running around. They were between the ages of 6 and 10. And the passengers on the train were getting annoyed. And eventually, someone took the courage to say to the father, "Please, can you control your children? Look at them, they're just like wild animals." And the father already had his head between the 2 hands like this. And he took a moment and he said, "I'm just coming to terms that my wife is dying from cancer, and this news has just been relayed to my children." And the children weren't dancing or being happy or anything, but they must have been dealing through some emotions or feeling. And that's all he said to them, that this is the news that has just been told to my children, so I don't wish to say anything to them. Within a second, everybody on the train or whoever was in that carriage changed their mindset. And the reason I'm sharing this, and it's a very good story, I've shared the essence with you. Never judge somebody just by what they are, what they wear, the way they talk, the way they walk. But understanding that pain is not seen. Pain may be heard, but it cannot be seen. And so what is the feelings and the emotions the children are dealing with inside? And so the way they actually portray that is by running around. For us, we actually present it in other ways. We may cry about it. We may talk about it. We may even just run around about it in a roundabout way, not on the train, but we're going from this person to this person to this person. And what do people do nowadays? They don't run around, they've become immobile, they reach out for the mobile. And then the mobile becomes discharged, they're looking for a charger or a Wi-Fi or more data, and then their thoughts are all drained by social media, by the mobile, by technology. And so we forget our feelings and emotions, and also we neglect them. And because we neglect them, can we be light? Can we be happy? And so it's very important to bring to terms that I need to give time for myself. Just like all of you today have given time to yourself to come here. Did anyone force you to come here? Did anyone pay you to come here? Did anyone gift you? No, you made time. So whether those look on Zoom or whether you're present, you've come because of choice. And so the way I think, the way I behave, the way I interact is my choice. And I would like to share 2 cycles of thoughts. This is just a simple example, but during the day you may have a different way of thinking about it. But this is the cycle of negative thoughts. And so I will show you 2 cycles. This is the first. The first is negative, the second is positive. So this is just an example of somebody who's taken a driving test. And they've not taken the test, but they've actually got up in the morning and look at him. How does he look? Is he presentable? No. He's just got up, and I think he's just about got himself ready, and he just imagines that I will fail my test. That was his first thought from the time he got up. And then he has imaginations That, okay, I'm going to fail my test because in life I failed an interview, and he thinks of other failures in his life. And then he remembers all these situations, and then he takes the test with that fear inside. He didn't have fear, but he created fear because he remembered all his other failures in life. All of us have experienced some failure in life, right? But that failure, if you reflect on them again and again, they become a wall for anything you want to achieve further in the future. And so then what happens, he actually takes the test. And what's the result? He fails. It may not always be the case, but he has sown that seed. And because he's sown that seed of great heaviness, of great failure, which has in brackets created unhappiness, this is what he has resulted in. And so what was the proof? He failed the test. Can you reflect to that? Can you think of a moment in your life where you've experienced this? Yes? No? Think about it. It may be something small, it may be something big. Then this is the second one, the cycle of positive thoughts. This is the same person, and all he's done is changed his attitude, his mindset, and the way he thinks. And so, just going through the same scenario, he actually wakes up in the morning, look at him, he's very presentable, right? He's presentable and he looks good and he looks very happy and light because he's very hopeful that he's going to take the test today and he's going to pass. He remembers other situations in his life that he's achieved. It may be a new house, a new job, anything, a new car. And then he's feeling very confident, and then he takes the test and he passes. But just to go back a few steps, somebody who gets up positively, with positive attitude, and going down to the third point, feeling confidence, he can take the test, but he may fail. And because he may fail, but he's still happy, because he has the strength and he has the determination that I will take my test again and I will pass. So somebody who fails, it doesn't mean they've always been negative, but they've not given up. When I started learning driving, I passed my test the first time, but my sister passed the 5th time. Who was better out of both of us? My sister, because she learned from her mistakes and she never gave up. She gave up in the sense by the 4th time she thought, because it was very expensive, it's okay, I don't want to learn driving. But my parents were so good, they gave her encouragement, determination, and we said, you will pass. But yes, she learned from her mistakes. And because she analyzed, so in life, we make many mistakes, we all do. Even today, just the way we look at somebody, the way we speak to somebody, the way we interact with somebody, mannerism, human culture, the basics we've forgotten. And so we all make mistakes. But the art of living is, the art of being happy is never to dwell on those mistakes. What you need to do, you either learn from those mistakes or you cry about it. If you cry about it, you will just sweep it under the carpet, which means the rubbish is still there. If you actually learn from your mistakes, so if I have an argument with you, and then we understand the art of forgiving and forgetting, you can move ahead. These days, one of the reasons of not being light is because people hold on to bad feelings, they hold on to grudges, and they hold on to a lot of hatred in their mind, in their heart. Right or wrong? And because they hold on to these grudges, to bad feelings, they don't understand the impact it has on their body. Why? Because then what happens is, the reality is, they have blood pressure. Food is not the cause just for all these basic illnesses. Sugar levels fluctuate, cholesterol increases. Why? Because they're stressed. And because they're stressed, they will eat the wrong food. The question I asked the last group was, what do you do when you feel stressed or unhappy? Somebody said they sleep, somebody said they walk, but somebody said, I just eat. I said, how much do you eat? But that is their answer. And of course we all know, anything in life, too much of anything in life is not good for you. Too much sleeping, too much eating, too much exercise, too much company, too much WhatsApp, too much mobile, nothing is good for you, too much of anything. But the one thing that is good, continue to smile. Because smiling brings lightness to the heart, to the mind, and to the atmosphere, right? If we are all living together in one house, and all of us on this side are unhappy, and all of you are happy, what will be the scales? What will be the result? These days, negative overrides happiness. But if all of you who are happy and positive and who have the determination to help us, we can change this negativity to positivity. And I'm sure you can relate to this very much. The other thing that makes us very heavy is three things in life: circumstances, people, and situation. Again, this is very much connected to our mindset, to positive thinking, positive thoughts. So an example, it's raining today, I feel miserable, and today that happened. I just looked at the weather in the UK and then I shut the phone again. But it's okay, I'm used to it, I've lived there, I was born there. So we're very used to this very much. But this is what happens there. Here, not so much. You wake up in the morning, you don't know if it's raining, you don't know if it's sunshine, snowing or windy. In the summer you have an idea, but nowadays you don't. And what happens is, this weather affects the mind of people. And so circumstances, I didn't have a good career, so I won't get a good job. These are just basic examples. Then the next one is the influence of possessions. She has a good car, I want one too. And then so-and-so has a new kitchen, I want one too. How old is your kitchen? It's only 1 month old, but you still want something. And so possessions, things, we lose our mobiles. Here I've seen people can walk around freely with their mobiles. In the UK you can't do that. It's not to scare you, but it means we have to live with caution. And then the last thing is people. I'm not going to the party today because you are going. I don't want to be in the same car as you. So circumstances, possessions, and people, all these three things have a deep impact on our happiness. Yes? Right? It's very true. Now, today I read something, the vehicles now are keyless. And so now there's a new gadget which you can buy for £20,000. I don't know about here. And people are using that to steal keyless cars at night when people are sleeping. And now this is the recent news in the UK. And so they're saying put the key remote in a pouch. So one of our uncles had his car stolen and he was beating his head, and then we found out the car had been broken up into many pieces and many parts of the car, which was a Lexus, was sold in South Africa. This was after many, many days of, weeks of investigation. But when we came to talk to him, this was one of the things I was able to just say to him. You were not hurt, the family was not hurt, car is replaceable. You are not replaceable. You see how things, possession, you lose your mobile, it's okay. Even there, if somebody asks you for your mobile, we just give it, if they ask. Because we don't want to be hurt, we need to be protected. But I do believe very much good energy, good mindset, good thoughts protects us, but also it's not like people look at you and say, oh, not her again, or not him again. But more so our behavior, our interaction should be such where people like to be with us, people enjoy to be with us. Sometimes many people that we work with, one bad apple has a major effect on the rest of the colleagues, right? And so I don't want to be that bad apple. And if we want an example of that, keep a basket at home with 5 apples. Don't touch the apples for 2 weeks. What will happen to the apples? They will rot, they will smell, and you won't even want to eat them. And it's just one bad apple that influences everybody else. So how can you experience happiness? How can you experience lightness? And so the law of action is very simple. Be happy, you can give happiness. Be peaceful, you can share happiness. Even myself, I do have negative thoughts. Here, not so much, but back home in London, being hands-on 24/7, we are dealing with so much. But again and again these days, and this year more so, one thing that has been very strong to me is the well-being of myself, the well-being of others is very important. Even the people we may be sleeping with means sharing a home with, whether it's my brother, my sister, my father, my mother, my uncle. Those vibrations impact each other. We don't realize that. We are sleeping in a house with 1 member, 10 members, 20 members. My negative thought can impact all of them. And so the law of action is be happy, share happiness. You can do this, we can do this. If I sleep with a heavy heart, definitely those vibrations, like aftershave and perfume, they carry a very heavy aura to others. And this is what we see. Many times I get up in London and I feel heavy, and I feel the atmosphere is heavy. But then through morning meditation, I make sure that that heaviness is removed. And so meditation is very important. Just now, this evening, I was meditating just for 10 minutes, and it was just that deep feeling of just removing any sort of negativity I had. But what I appreciated, just sitting silently for 10 minutes had a deep impact on the body and the mind. Just I felt some discomfort in the body, but the silence, the power of silence can help you heal in a very profound way. And so how much do we sit in silence? How much do we give that inner peace to the mind, to the body, to our intentions, to our vibrations? And then remember, the last thing is, each one of us has a choice. I can present a table here with 10,000 types of cakes, maybe not 10,000, 10 types of cakes. I'm a baker in London, but I only do it for my friends and family. I really enjoy it. Why? Because I really love to see the joy and happiness it brings to others. So I do this for a hobby. Second, I love to walk because I need to walk. Not because I want to lose weight or anything, but it's good for your mindset. Thirdly, I like playing badminton. It's good. It's like the law of action. You give, you receive. So the point for sharing this is, in life, everything we do, we have a choice. And we need to make sure we do things that we enjoy. Otherwise, what will happen is you can get sucked in to the negative energy, negative vibrations. And these days, so many things are happening in the world. Not just in the UK, America, South Africa, everywhere in the UK. Everyone is really wanting time. Do you find time is not enough? Everyone just wants more time. But what people forget is they waste a lot of time. They don't utilize time. And so time is my best friend. How I use time, how I gift time, how I understand time is very much in my hands. And so, like Big Ben in London, I like to be on time, before time, ahead of time, but with time. Then time will give me cooperation at the right time. So we have a choice. Do I want to be happy? Yes. Am I happy? Yes, maybe. You may be happy now. And so what should you look into? The mirror. Everybody here looks into the mirror, right? Whether you're brushing your teeth or getting ready or make it, whatever, you look in the mirror. I have a mirror in my bedroom and I like it clean. Sometimes I see, specks of dust and I think, no, now time to clean the mirror. So the mirror is good reflection of how I look, but also good reflection of how I think. Sometimes if something happens and I think, wow, did I make my face like that? That's terrible. Other people were watching me. So we have a choice. But how to handle the choice, the process is SOS. So you need to stand back, not like this, but you just stand back and you just observe the whole scene. And to stand back means maybe to count to 10, maybe to count to 20, just to analyze the situation. If you don't stand back, you will react. When you react, you will never act in the right way, in the right time. Then you need to just observe. Not that you are physically getting binoculars, but you just need to analyze. How do I want to react? How do I want to behave? Our behavior is very much a deep reflection of my thoughts, my mind, my inner self, what's going on inside. And then you steer. Accordingly, you move. Now, like here, everywhere in the world today, there is a lot of traffic. And everyone uses sat-nav, unless you know London inside out. So the point is, you try and see the back routes and the way to go forward, and you will maneuver accordingly. So like that, when something has happened, if two people are arguing, we may not like it, but I don't want to be the third person to put my 2 pennies in, to make it worse and add the masala in. But what I need to do, if there's a right moment, if they come to me, then I need to steer accordingly. And so my inner happiness, my inner lightness, my inner joy, where do you buy this? Do you go to Lulu? Do you go to Amazon? Where? It's within us. Everything is within us. How many times we open a cupboard at home and you forget you had all these things there. And you think, oh, I have this jacket or this shoes or something. And then you say, okay. And so everything is within us. Patience is within us. Cooperation is within us. Understanding is with us. How much do we use it? And so going back to the questions, what does happiness mean to me? Well, for myself, happiness means enjoying each moment, each second, and living in the present. You can do this exercise again and again and again, and I can guarantee you the answers will be different. Then the second question was, how do you share your happiness? Well, just being you, just being natural, being free, being light. Then the third question was, how do you increase your happiness? Well, not sitting here thinking, okay, I need to increase it, but it means to remove any negativity and to develop on your positivity. Like in the kitchen, if you've just finished dinner and you leave all the plates in the sink and you get up in the morning, how do you feel? You feel bad. And so it's just human policy, human nature. We clean everything and then we go to sleep. And so the law of action, just to do the basics, just to put everything right in the proper place, makes you happy. So a clean mind is a reflection of a clean heart, and which results in a clean kitchen, clean bedroom. There's a saying, your handwriting is a reflection of what is in your mind. Now, I don't know if this is true, but this is what we used to be taught when we were children. Your bedroom is a reflection of your mind. So now when you're traveling, you're living literally out of a suitcase, but generally at home, from the moment I get up, I like everything immaculate because it makes me feel good. Otherwise, your towel is there, this is there, this is there. So this was one of the disciplines we learned through meditation. How to have a clear, light mind is to keep things orderly, not like a museum, but to keep them tidily. So at the right time, you can find the right thing. So the question is, am I happy? In Dubai, when it's too hot, are you happy? If the AC breaks down, are you happy? You're not happy. There you are. What happens if electricity goes? I was in a situation where the boiler broke. We didn't know. I was in the shower. So within 2 minutes, I had to have a cold shower and come out. And outside, it was like -5. But I remember at that time, I said, it's okay. I came out of the shower and I just kept drinking lots of hot water. Because everything is wear and tear in the world today. Whether it's a chair, a bed, a boiler. So because we have a lot of frozen pipe issues there. So that's what happens, and the boiler goes through bursting issues. So then your boiler breaks down. So this is the current climate of the world. Everything is unpredictable. You just don't know what happens tomorrow. Right? Like the Air India incident, we all know about it. And so many sad stories about families on there, families who are waiting for their loved ones. But it was a good lesson for me that anything that happens, which is not good, just forgive and forget. Don't hold on to grudges. Then the mindset and the heart will be very happy. Let's not depend on anything. Let's not depend on anyone, but to keep looking after our well-being. And I come back to the word well-being because well-being of others is easy, but that can only happen when we ourselves are being well. Right? If you yourself are well, then you can share that with others. So that is the sharings for this evening. But what I'd like you to do is just turn to somebody, smile to them, and tell them they are wonderful. Whoever, even if you don't know them. You can just turn to somebody and tell them you are wonderful. And now tell them that you are better than everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I do at home when I just look in the mirror and say, okay, I am happy. Be kind to yourself. Well done. If I have pain, then I just say it's okay. So to turn that negative element into a positive will share happiness. Just this little thing we did, I could see everyone's teeth. So the small acts of kindness, it's good to watch comedy. Just now when I flew from Bahrain to here, I just put on a kid's, a little thing, and it wasn't a long flight, but it was so funny. And I thought how important it is to watch something funny, just for 10 minutes. So this is a thing. Otherwise, we're just in a serious mode. The mobiles are in aeroplane mode, silent mode, or vibrate mode. But we need to make sure that we maintain our happy mode, our light mode, our sweet mode, our interactions with each other, being very sweet and respectful. Doesn't matter how someone is. So that's the last point I would like to end on. Just because somebody is rough with me or is not nice to me does not mean I need to behave like that. I am better than that. And that's how you will help somebody. Not that, oh, she's like this, he's like this. So I hope you found it helpful. And things that I've shared is actually things I've practiced for many, many years. Practicing meditation for years. But believe me, I've had my own challenges and test papers in life. But I have to say, there's nothing more important than being happy right now. And yes, I come here every year because coming to the Middle East and Dubai is happiness for me. It's a time to take a break and have a reflective moments and just to be with my friends and family here. Okay? Thank you very much. So maybe we can just have a moment together in silence and really just reflect on what I have taken from this evening. But the questions I gave you at the beginning, how you can more so develop on them, you can just analyze and reflect on that. Sorry, was there any questions or anybody wanted to say anything, or you're happy and content? It's a good question. And I must say for myself, meditation has helped me tremendously, immensely. But the other thing is, more so, just to make sure I pay attention to my thoughts, words and actions. But if you are facing something that is in a negative mode, to try and very much do something, as I shared, that you enjoy. Divert your mind and occupy it in something else. Most of the time, it's good to go for a walk because you get out of that atmosphere or whatever is a current situation. If that's not possible, then as I was sharing, just to sit for 10 minutes now silently before I came here was very empowering. How much do we do that? Even not 10 minutes, just 2 minutes. It actually recharges yourself, your whole mindset. It's like before you cook in. There we cook for hundreds, and sometimes already by midday, I'm a bit tired. And I know that before I start cooking, I always make sure I sit for 5 minutes, because I believe whatever I cook will affect everybody else who eats the food. I'm a great believer of this. And so to just sit for a couple of moments in that silence, not to think about anything, is very empowering. So yes, things are happening all the time, but you need to protect yourself with the aura of positivity. This is why I brought this element of positive thinking in this topic, which has been really, really good for me as well. So I hope that answers.
Thanks to Sister Jagruti that she shared empowering insights for us, as we know that seed thoughts is the seed and we are the creator of our own thoughts, and how we have to watch our thoughts, words and actions. This is what we learned today. Thank you. Thanks to join us.